All right.
All right. Well, Skip, obviously the team acquiring a couple of arms over the last few days. Just how do you expect the two new additions to fit into the bullpen?
Well, first of all, Floro was awesome for us, and always tough losing a guy that's been here a while and had a lot of success. But that's what happens, kind of business of the game, and at the deadline. And Lopez is a power arm. He's got real stuff. I feel like that. We saw a few things that could really help him out, and we'll see what happens. But the sinker slider combo with the changeup is real, and I feel like with velocity we can really play, especially late in the season. Hopefully, we get to the postseason and can really play. The guy that we got last night's pretty good. He's been there before, closer, big stage, lots of postseason experience. Having another great year this year, gets righties and lefties out, really good against lefties. Ninth inning experience. As far as role, you'll see him late, probably the latest. So with AJ and Tanner both having some ninth inning experience, Dave will have a really good shot of being in the ninth inning guy. He's not going to be able to throw every single ninth inning, but I think you'll see him in that closing role for sure.
I know these first couple starts for Braxton out of the break maybe dealt with a little bit of a blister issue, but he really felt like in his last start, command just seemed to be a lot better. Is that the biggest thing that you're looking for him to bounce back?
Yeah, I think the blister really did affect him. There's no doubt he's not going to tell you that, and he's not going to make excuses, but I think it did affect his command of that cutter especially. And when you eliminate anybody's real pitch or their best pitch, it makes it challenging. But he feels good. Had a really good 4 or 5 days in between his starts, and so he's looking forward to getting back to who he is and who he was that first time.
Back with the bullpen on Nardi, just what have been the reports on him down in AAA?
Well, he's gonna have to throw it back to back and then be ready. Hopefully, probably Tuesday. We'll see how it goes. First outing was I think 8 or 9 pitches. Threw some more pitches in the bullpen. It was really good, effective. Velocity was up. Felt good. Most importantly, felt good after. So he's itching to come back.
Jordan mentioned Dane had been kind of dealing with something, but just the idea of having Sanchez in there, but Birdie also hitting well, just the kind of the rotation kind of maybe maximize offense, or what sort of goes into the decision of, who's in the lineup, let's say today?
Offense, you hit it. I think, it's Dane's been working on stuff. He's not dealing with anything physically. I think it's more working on some swing stuff, swing mechanics, and that type of situation with in the case with our hitting guys. Defensively, he's been great. But still needs some work out there. He knows it, and he's still been working hard. He came in early today, worked both offensively and defensively. So Dane's going to be fine. He's still new. He's a rookie, so the league will adjust to you. You got to adjust to it, and he's doing a really good job. I think there's always room for improvement. Sanchez feels a lot better. His neck feels a lot better. Birdie's been swinging a really hot bat, trying to ride the highs of some of these guys, and try to get the best matchups possible for our guys, and then see what happens later in the game.
Skip, Miguel Cabrera will be honored tonight. What about playing against him in your career, seeing him and the kind of career that he's had, to put himself in the company of really Mays, Aaron, with some of the stats he's had has been unbelievable, maybe underrated somehow.
I played against him when he was 19 in AA. He was on the Carolina Mudcats, and he led the league in stolen bases and home runs. And at 18 or 19 years old, playing third base. And Dontrell Willis actually was on that team as well. And that was the first time I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to make it if that's what the prospects really look like, because it was unfair at 19 years old what he was doing, and running the bases like crazy, hitting the ball the other way with authority. I just never saw that as a young player, the way he did it. He's still doing it, by the way. I mean, getting base after base the other way. You never wanted to see him up with the man in scoring position because you knew he was going to drive it to right field, and that's a really tough matchup for anybody when you can hit it with authority the other way. For me, I played with Albert Pujols, and they were Mickey and Albert were the two best right-handed hitters that I ever played against or with in my career, or as a coach or a player. And you're right, he probably is a little underrated, which is insane for 3,000 hits and 500 home runs, whatever he has now. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Grateful that I got to play against him for so many years, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of fans that are here for him and his last time in Miami.
Hey, Skip, how important was it to have those 2 days off during the week, let alone the fact that you were able to earn a split in Tampa?
Yeah, you can look at it both ways. I don't love days off all the time because I feel like some guys want to keep going and fight through some stuff. There's other guys that need some guys want to reset. For us at this time of the year, anytime you can get to a couple days off for your bullpen is big. But as far as like position players and stuff, like you usually want to get back out there the next day if you don't feel great, because that's the only way to fight through some stuff. So as far as like getting some time off arms, you want you utilize those days off as much as you can and push back some of the starting pitchers. But I think you asked a lot of the position players, they wanted the second half this is when it's fun. You can smell the finish line and make that second half push, and so there's only 60 games left or so, and so you're trying to roll and fight through whatever you're fighting through, because the playoffs is what you're trying to do, right? Trying to get to, and days off for me, or you don't want them anymore.
Braxton scuffling a little bit more, attributed to more the league adjusting to him, or just him reaching through high innings pitch?
I attribute to a lot of it was the blister. So that means it's tough when you have a blister on your throwing hand and the spin isn't right. And if you're a pitch maker and you have pitch ability and you can't make certain pitches when you don't have like high velo, it's tough. So he's again, he won't make an excuse. He's not that guy, but it did bother him. I know, but he won't tell anybody that. So I think he feels good now. Made some adjustments, and yeah, a lot of these guys are coming up on their innings career highs. Some surpassing it already. So yeah, we definitely have to keep an eye on it, and that's why we're trying to be as careful as we could at the beginning of the year, because we knew that this was going to come up. And so hopefully they feel good in the second half because of kind of what we did with them in the first half.
Skip, what could, bringing in a Robertson, what is that psychologically for the clubhouse? What kind of addition does that bring?
Yeah, I feel like as a player, you see a guy like that walk in, it gives you an adrenaline boost because the front office is in with you, and you're fighting down here for your life as a coach and a player, and then when you start adding, you know that they're in it with you and they believe in you. So that is a really good feeling to have as a player and as a coach. I remember in 2014, I think it was, we traded Jonathan Brox in Cincinnati, and it was a hit. It felt deflating, honestly, and we were kind of in it still. But when you're adding, you feel really good about, all right, they're in it with us, they feel good about it. And so adding a guy like that can only help your team. And a good guy that has 19 inning experience, postseason experience, that does wonders for a clubhouse. That's good.